He has an amazing heart. He notices things and he'll just kind of step in to try to help someone or do something.
Sometimes people see someone like Elise and they just assume stereotypical things about children like her. And if they only knew how intelligent she actually is, I think it would shock a lot of people.
When she was born, I think she was very fragile. No, she's pretty strong. And it starts when actually she was born with the condition, with a heart condition, but she's so very strong, and that's why she's over here with us.
I think one major misconception that people have about children with special needs, especially like Elise, are that they just aren't as intelligent as the next person. I think they judge them by their appearance, and they assume that they are only at a certain level of intelligence when actually it's quite the opposite.
I think because there are physical markers and characteristics for Down syndrome, sometimes people see that and carry a bias for that. There are, I think, people who see him and then automatically assume that he is not able to do certain things.
There have been many junctures where we've had to really advocate for Gabe being included in something or giving him the opportunity to do something. And more often than not, if it's something he's interested in, he really, becomes quite excited about it and often will excel. And that can be surprising to folks who don't know. But it's just getting him the opportunity to get those chances is really challenging sometimes.
The equality, it's a fight that we have to have every single day. So if I have a message, it's just like, because she have a different shape of her ears, or she have a different shape of her face, different eyes, doesn't mean that she's not capable. She's capable to do whatever she wants.
I was pregnant with Elise and had my first ultrasound about halfway through my pregnancy, and that was the first time I learned that something might be wrong.
The doctor called me and said, she's okay, your kid's okay. I saw her briefly for 5 seconds and they already took her to unit intensive care. I said, what's going on? Because I knew something was wrong.
And then it was actually the nurse who took him in to get his bath that noticed that he was a slightly different color of red when he cried from the other babies. And that means that they're holding their oxygen differently.
I will never forget where I was sitting when I had the conversation with the doctor who told me she didn't know what was wrong, but something seemed like it could be wrong. And from that point on, for the rest of my pregnancy, we didn't know if she would live or die. We didn't know if she'd survive the birth. She came early. I had a C-section, and immediately she was put on oxygen and lived in the NICU for about a month.
So when she saw that, then she started looking at the other soft markers, which are things like sometimes there's a crease across one palm, there's a slightly bigger gap in between their big toe and their next toe, the placement of the ears on the head, all of those things, and then he had all of those. So then she alerted the pediatrician on rounds that it was highly likely he had Down syndrome.
And we were like, And so the way it was presented to us was very shocking. We had these antiquated ideas, okay, does this mean like he's gonna have a short lifespan? Is he gonna be able to grow? Is he gonna be able to communicate?
As a human being, I should say the first reaction is the deny. So I saw that she had Down syndrome because the signs of Down syndrome that I know was over there, but the first thing was deny. No, she doesn't have that.
And I just remember being in the hospital just praying that God would allow her to live. That's really all I wanted. And as you know, she has completely exceeded every doctor's expectations.
These preconceived notions of what a good life is or what an active life is are really limiting. And the more you start learning and growing with your child and seeing all the things they can accomplish and all the things they're doing and understanding that their path is different, but it's not necessarily a worse path or a more limited path.
I think about when she was born, and she was on oxygen for about a year. And so I would go to the grocery store and I'd be carrying her in her little baby carrier, and I'd have a tank of oxygen on my shoulder like my purse, and she had the nasal oxygen thing. And I had never been around kids with special needs. I didn't know anyone that had a child with special needs. You don't see them that often, especially a baby in a baby carrier in downtown Los Altos with oxygen.
Over time, the best kid for me to have, it's my daughter.
I'll never forget the stares and the people that just absolutely could not stop looking. And I quickly grew a thick skin, and I learned to just look at them and say, isn't she beautiful?
I think at Mountain View High School, the experience has been good.
I think Mountain View provides a ton of support and activities for kids like Elise. I honestly can't think of anything else that they might be able to provide that they don't already.
The student population has been just really warm and welcoming. The faculty are so supportive, and the staff to just try to make everything possible.
Mr. Q has done an excellent job of really talking with us, talking with Gabe, understanding what his interests are, what his passions are.
First, we like to look at all students as being, we're all Mountain View High School students first, right? And then how do we meet individual needs? Like the students in my class come to my class for particular needs, right? And then we go into other general education classrooms to meet some of their maybe art class, music class, dancing. So those are classes where they're included with the general population.
Mr. Q is so great about creating different opportunities for the students, and I think he's a great advocate. So a lot of the things that Gabe has wanted to do, he's been able to do. I
think the best classes or classrooms are full of joy, and that's something I always emphasize. So I love to see happy students. So.
Especially things like Spartan Buddies, where you're able to meet folks with different disabilities and develop friendships, understandings with them. I think that will help, folks as they grow older in society become more welcoming and open and understanding of folks, and maybe clear away some of the hurdles that they have to go through.
So I think Spartan Buddies is a really important part of our school and an important part of the lives of our students in our classrooms.
Especially, opportunities like when he's been able to walk in the homecoming parade with Spartan Buddies. He's really loved that a lot.
I love Spartan Buddies. I think it's a fabulous club, and I know Elise looks forward to it every Thursday.
My goal or dream sometimes is to have the students be real friends outside of campus, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So that would be like the next level club in this, I guess, is that they're not just, the club is not just on Thursdays. It's people coming at other times, weekends, and that would be perfect.
There are so many benefits to having students with disabilities just intermingled within just your average classroom. So what I really love is that it just really shows and demonstrates to students that everyone is a human at the end of the day, and we're all able to work together and learn together and grow together and support one another.
Dance has been phenomenal. I mean, outside of Mr. Q, that's been the best thing at Mountain View High School. And with Dance Spectrum, it's never, when talking with Ms. Cato, there's never been a question of, whether Gabe can participate or whether he can do it. It's just been make sure he's ready to do this and make sure he's got his uniform on and he's gonna be there and doing it.
So I have a student, she is a sophomore this year. Her name is Yasmin, and she started with me and was so shy, painfully shy. But then the music would start to come on, and when there is a song that she enjoys or has some sort of beat, a girl turns on. And let me tell you, we end up at Foothill College for these shows, and I have never seen Yasmin light up and just be so herself.
Beyond that, we're trying to explore options to help him continue to grow and do the types of things that he's interested in.
Tyco is actually really about giving self-advocates an opportunity to express themselves creatively and their individuality and personality, and just bring joy to people, both the people who are playing and also the people who are watching them.
He really loves it very much. He, especially early on, was always practicing with anything that could be a drumstick and just kind of working out rhythms and stuff.
When we're in SVDS and Taiko and you give everybody a pair of bachi, the drumsticks, like everybody is the same. Right? And everybody is finding joy in playing and making music and making music together.
I think that it's important to get our students ready, particularly my students in my class, ready for life as an adult. And the truth is, you only spend 4 years in high school. It's not your full life, so we want to get them out there being safe, socially appropriate, and also ready for the real world.
Find those opportunities to make sure that he can stay active and keep pursuing what he wants to pursue. I mean, that's really my biggest hope.
As I told, one day at a time, but my hope is for her, when she get the age, she have a job that she can interact, socialize, and make herself happy and fun. She want to get married. If she want to get married and she finds someone, she'll get married. So my hope it's just one day at a time, but whatever she can do, and my job is to provide.
We are hoping that we can help him live the life that he wants to lead, and sort of give him his wings. I know that he wants to be out in the world and to work and contribute to society and all of that. So we're hoping to help him attain those goals.
Her dream job right now is to be a top model. So I think she has potential, because my eyes is for, she's beautiful.
My hopes and dreams for Elise are that she will continue to be loved, that she will always have people around her that love her. I don't even want to think about when her dad and I are gone, but I'm so thankful that she has an older brother, an older sister, and a younger sister that adore her, and I know they will take care of her for the rest of her life.
And I had a friend in high school who said, oh, what would you change about Gabe if you could? And I thought about it, and I'm like, actually, I wouldn't change Gabe, I would change the world. Because it's the world that needs to change how they see him and how they accept him.